Perfect. I'll raise every single hand. If I get into that groove and it's working, I'll make a small raise and a small bet every single hand.
I've seen you do it. Another big stack play here. When it's grooving, it is grooving. And this is John Richard on the button. I guess they've gotten down to three-handed here. So look at all the chips Tony Bloom has. And now he makes a big raise. It's more of a shutout bet. And I think it's because the big blind is very short stacked. You can see blinds 10 and 20.
Yeah, that's a different kind of play. That's, yeah, that Tony just wants, he knows a good player will call with any hand.
9-5.
He just wants to put it in.
Shows king ace.
Tony's got a great hand there, heads up.
What's the balance? So at what level heads up there would you think about either folding or trying to take them out?
If he had the same chips as the other guy, then that's the time. But when
the guy was so small, like almost any two you would put it in to gamble because you already have half in.
Well, you would fold a bad hand though. If you had a 5-7 or 5-5 deuce, Tony Bloom could fold it. That's a good spot to fold it in.
4-7.
But if you have anything
Tony
that's
stays in
above
front.
a 10, just one card, you just put it all in.
One card above a 10 is enough to try and
Still
bust a
not
guy
up to
head up
Wayne.
if you've got money in there to win.
Yeah.
And when you're at a table like this, would you rather bust a guy or would you rather let somebody else
card is
bust
an
him?
ace.
If you have a
You
big
lose
stack.
You want to bust him. You want to take the chance.
I want to bust as many people as I can, and I do. And don't wait for someone else to bust them, because it might never happen. And you get into a passive situation where you're waiting and things don't happen and your stack's going down.
Example of this in the EPT Copenhagen where I won. We were four-handed and Ram had all the chips, so I knew I had to bust the other two to have a chance against Ram. So I took a chance with slight worse hands because I knew I needed the chips to have a shot, and it worked out.
If you're planning on winning, there's no reason just to try and move up. You have to bust guys.
You want to win the tournament.
So just to sum up here, we've seen a couple plays with big stacks, and you guys think the more chips you have, ironically, the smaller you can raise to put pressure on people. And obviously the less chips you have, the more you have to raise to put pressure on them.
Exactly. It's a very simple rule. The more chips you have, the less you raise. The less you have, the more likely you should be just going all in all the time. All in, all in, all in. It's not bad. And that's the recommendation. It's so easy. Just follow that, and you've got a good chance.
Well, we've seen small stacks, we've seen big stacks. Let's see Noah Buchan at his best. 3 consecutive hands, Noah, that we're going to watch. You had a very small stack, and it was pretty much 3 against 1 here playing in this Poker Legends Cup. You have a 10-4 under the gun here, and
yeah, the blinds were huge, so I needed to, like, if I would have to pay the blinds not around, I would have no power, so I had to go all in.
and you're in a spot where you know you have to bust 3 guys.
Yeah, I was going in regardless what my hand would be.
In that spot, you just look for fun? Any 2 cards you're in?
I have to, because if I pay the blinds, I maybe have 2 big blinds, and I'm going to get called for sure. Here I had a shot to pick it up and get something going.
Total pass.
I was up against the 3 Norwegian guys, yeah.
And this Torstein Iverson has a lot of chips
wow,
here.
here's a queen jack.
Pass.
Yeah, they're scared to double me up, you know. They want to just wait.
You have to get closure in tournaments. And in this situation, if you have a lot of chips and you're just waiting for one more player to go out before you win, or I just call, and I just call him, and I'll call him. And the odds will be very good for me to win 1 or 4 hands against him.
Very next hand, Noah's in the big blind. And Noah, you just said they don't want to double you up, but Tony, they don't want to let him back in it by stealing blinds either, do they?
That's right.
But they just waited. They were waiting for a hand to finish it off.
Well, this is the very next hand. You're in the big blind, but you had gotten short stacked.
So he called with Jack 9.
Check.
And then that's the small blind. Now you could take a free flop here, and you've decided to go all in. Is this a spot where...
Yeah, they both didn't show much strength. I have the ace queen. Like, I have a great hand anyway, and I don't want to see
It's
flop
a great
against 2
hand
guys.
before the flop, by the way. That's
in
and
for
he just wants to pick up what's out there. Just grab it, just take it.
Why not make a raise of, say, half the pot and leave
I
some
don't
back?
want to get anyone in, because if the flop comes, I miss them.
Pass.
I want to take it now and then.
And if they both call, yeah, now it's odds on to lose the hand. So The hand is pretty.
I'm still not too happy because my two teammates left me early in this tournament.
You're a moving team captain there. And then we're going to look at one more hand, which was the very next hand. And this is how you get back in a tournament here. Now, you're in the small blind this time with the 10-5. And it's been folded around to the button. And Iverson has limped in with a queen 9.
No.
You got a free
Check.
flop here. And, I mean, that's a big mistake by Iverson there, isn't it? He's let you have a free flop.
I would just raise a lot. I
15,000.
mean, now they should be putting no in
Pass.
every hand. Someone should be. Whoever thinks they have the best hand, they
Call.
should be putting all in every single hand. I just didn't do it.
You've been allowed to get a free flop. You got top pair, and you just
Check.
called. Is it because this was an inexperienced player, I think?
Yeah, this was the goalie, and like it was very easy to read.
Check,
So I
both
just didn't
checked.
want to put it in when I was like I took a little, like you take some risk, but
Check.
I just wanted to be safe against this guy who
If he had made a big
against.
bet, he might have gotten the pot
Yeah,
off. you.
I just know I can read him so well. If he bets turn big, my 10 is not good because I know exactly how he plays.
Check.
But, I mean, it
those
seems like a
tens and
situation there where you've gotten back in this tournament, but the Norwegians have cooperated here, haven't they, Tony? They let him back in, and Noah took advantage
For
of
sure.
it.
What they were 3 against 1.
Passive.
and
They were
left him.
passive. The killer. The thing that will kill you is being passive, and that's what they did. And they put him right back in.
Yeah, in 3 hands there consecutively, you went from 4th to 2nd, and you know, it would have been easy to see you getting knocked out on 2 of those hands. You know, one where Torstein could have called with the queen jack, another time he could have raised the queen 9. In addition to having to play a short stack well, you have to play well against short stacks too, don't you?
Of course, we have to put pressure on the short stack. You can't fold many hands to short stack. I mean, if you let him back in, it's bad luck. But if you let him back in without a flop, that's horrible. That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, without a
Make
flop
him
or,
win.
or a free flop like he did when he limped on
Yeah.
the button. Like if he raised, I can't do anything with.
When it's me in a short stack, he's going to have to win. He's going to have to win 4 hands. And if I'm an underdog every time, he's still got less than 5% to come out. So I'm not worried about it. The odds are terrible if you think about it. I mean, if you've got 5 times more chips than your opponent, or if you're in a position where he has to win 4 or 5 hands against you, then you're like 95% to win if you're very, very aggressive. But if you get passive and you start waiting for hands,
Well, I could steal the blind without seeing a flop. I would never run risk to be out.
Yeah, and as we know, you did come back and take out those Norwegians one by one. They crumbled up, ended up with every chip on that table in a situation where when they had you weak, they should have pressed.
Yep. That was nice.
Well, we've learned a lot here. We learned you have to be aggressive with a short stack, but don't press the panic button too early. We've learned when you are a big stack, the bigger your stack, the less you can raise to play pressure. And most importantly, when you're playing against a short stack, don't let them back in it. Keep the pressure on.
When you're a chip leader at the table, you're King Kong at the table. Everybody fears you because they know if they tangle in the pot with you, you can bust them and knock them out of that tournament. So it's always a seed in somebody's mind. They know if they mess with you, they can get broke. Everybody's scared of that a little bit underneath it all. And I don't care how skilled of a player you are, if you're the chip leader, people fear you.
Congratulations, now you're getting deep in the tournament, but now is not the time to get stuck in a groove because just around the corner they're starting to pay out the cash. 10% of the field are getting paid in any given poker tournament, and it's time to change gear again. What do you do when you're in spitting distance of the final payouts? The answer might surprise you. So join us next time to find out. Good night.